Good evening, you're watching Brass Tacks, I'm Zakir Jacob. There is a political back and forth between the government and the opposition around the aftermath of Operation Sindoor. Today, for the first time, two delegations are leaving India. They will be going to global capitals in a bid to try and convince the world about why India needed to undertake Operation Sindoor. They will also try and recapture some of the lost narrative and also de-hyphenate India and Pakistan, which is what our foreign policy has attempted to do over the last 25 years. At a time such as this, the Congress led by Rahul Gandhi has been trying to poke holes in the official narrative around Operation Sindoor. But senior leaders in the Congress party itself are not entirely in agreement. In private, they are saying that this is actually a zero-sum game, that the Congress party is not reading the mood of the nation. Whether it is a Shashi Tharoor who's been chosen to head the delegation that goes to the United States, a Salman Khurshid is also going along with one of the delegations, and now even former Home Minister P. Chidambaram, all seem to be suggesting that this is a moment that calls for national, if not political unity, because the country has to present a united face, particularly at a time when India has to do the hard yards, to go the extra mile to recapture some of the global narrative, to try and de-hyphenate, as I said, India and Pakistan yet again. Let's first bring you a snapshot of all the various political reactions that have been coming in and whether or not the Congress party is missing the mood on the street, as it were.
ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಈಗೇನು ನಾವು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಚುಟ್ಪುಟ್ಟು ಯುದ್ಧಗಳು ನಡೆದಿವೆ ಅಥವಾ ನಮ್ಮ ಪಾಕಿಸ್ತಾನ ವಿರುದ್ಧ नावेन घर्षणे मारता इದ್ದೇವೆ.
अगर इस एक्टिविटी का जानी माली नुकसान हुआ वो किसको हुआ? एक एक्टिविटी ने इस वक्त जम्मू कश्मीर में घर बिठा दिया.
अभी तो चाइना मेड 5000 ड्रोन उन्होंने भेजा, वो चाइना के थे. उस ड्रोन की कीमत 15,000 है, उसमें कुछ नहीं होता है. उसके लिए हमने 15 लाख का मिसाइल की कीमत 15 लाख थी एक ड्रोन गिराने के लिए, वो 15,000 का ड्रोन.
Now, those are some of the dissonant voices in the Congress party. Not all of them necessarily are in agreement with the leadership and this line of argument or attack against the government of the day, as it were. Shashi Tharoor, for example, he was one of the first ones to break ranks with the Congress's official narrative. His praise for Operation Sindoor, saying that the name was well thought out, stirred a hornet's nest. He called the strike calibrated and very calculated. Under fire from his own party, Dr. Tharoor doubled down. He defended his comments. He said it was intended to contribute to the national discourse, particularly at a time when India's position needed stronger articulation on the global stage. And perhaps that's why the government also had the foresight to choose him as the person who will lead the delegation that goes to the United States. Salman Khurshid, former Minister for External Affairs, he in fact came down to our studios. He had an exclusive interview with CNN News 18. He said that while the government should inform parliamentarians of what is going on, if they're unable to do so because of the sensitivity of the material in front of them, because of the situation, then that is okay, and that is something that the opposition should understand. He also said that politicians within the opposition bloc should understand this challenge and the position from which the government is approaching this challenge. Former Union Home Minister Chidambaram is also now the latest to not back the party's official narrative. Mr. Chidambaram, while speaking to a news daily, said that Rahul Gandhi had correctly asked the question about Jaishankar's remark informing Pakistan at the start of the operation, which subsequently the MEA clarified. But since the Ministry of External Affairs has given a detailed clarification, Mr. Chidambaram said that he didn't want to press this issue further. Unfortunately, though, Mr. Gandhi seems to be doubling down on that issue.
We'll have to be on the same page, and we will be on the same page, which all it says is for India and for India alone. Somebody, my party may ask questions that you went there to laud the BJP. Is that what you went there for? That's the challenge. And I have to tell my party leaders, please understand, you will also see this if this ever is given to you to do. This is what is the challenge, and this is a challenge that has to be understood by everybody. And at this moment, to be giving advice to the government is, please share a little bit more with the leaders of opposition. If you can't answer them, please tell the leader of opposition, this is of strategic importance. We'll let you know later. We can't let you know now. They can do that. They've done that in their press briefings.
Well, it's not just Salman Khurshid. The Dr. Shashi Tharoor, I spoke to him last week. He's been in hot water with his party right from the beginning of this conflict for his unequivocal support of the government. A few days after Operation Sindoor, I got a chance to sit down with Dr. Tharoor and I asked him why he's not towing the Congress's official line. This is what he had to say.
All right, one final word before we close this interview. You seem to be saying nice things about the government these days, and people are speculating that that's not necessarily, with political motives. Is it with political motives?
I speak for my country. I speak as an Indian. Zaka, whatever we all are, politically and otherwise, there is one identity that makes everything else possible. That makes it possible for you to be a journalist pursuing your profession. That makes it possible for me to be a politician pursuing my profession and winning votes. And that identity is that of India, guaranteed by the constitution you and I began talking about.
So you're not
to my
joining
mind, my loyalty is to my country.
Meanwhile, Rahul Gandhi and others within the Congress party have accused Dr. Jaishankar, the External Affairs Minister, of leaking information to Pakistan that the Indian armed forces were about to attack some of the terrorist camps there, the terrorist bases. Now, there is an official clarification that's come through from the External Affairs Ministry taking that on. The Foreign Ministry has said in a statement first made on the 17th of May, making it clear that Dr. Jaishankar has stated that India had warned Pakistan at the start, which is clearly the early phase after Operation Sindhur's commencement. Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri also informed parliamentarians of exactly that, the timeline and the sequence of events. He said this to the Standing Committee on External Affairs. And much before all of this happened, much before this entire controversy, the Director General Military Operations of the Indian Army, Lieutenant General Rajiv Ghai, had said that as per protocol, and this is military to military protocol, every time there is an escalation or use of force by one country against another sovereign, there has to be an attempt to reach out and communicate to the other sovereign as to why a military action was taken. And that was done so in the case of Operation Sindoor as well. In the immediate few minutes after 1:30 a.m. on the 7th of May, such a military log went from the Indian DGMO to his Pakistani counterpart. But the Pakistan side responded by saying that they will not accept it and they will strike back. Another thing that the Congress is persisting with is to know how many Indian fighter jets went down. On this issue, Air Marshal DG Operations A.K. Bharti last week said that currently India is in a combat scenario and details like how many air assets have been lost, which air assets have been lost, will only give an advantage to the adversary, and it will be revealed at a time when the defense forces are comfortable revealing that detail.
इस समय कोई राजनीति नहीं करनी चाहिए उनको, चाहे राहुल गांधी जी हो चाहे कोई और हो। अब ऑल पार्टी डेलीगेशन में भी उन्होंने राजनीति की, जो भी एक ठीक विषय नहीं था। और इस समय तो राजनीति ये तो करनी नहीं। किसके लिए पूछ रहे हैं, वो क्या पूछ रहे हैं? हमारी सेना कह रही है ना, उस पर विश्वास करो ना। जो पाकिस्तान के लोग बोल रहे हैं उन पे आप क्यों विश्वास कर रहे हो?
So I want to go across to Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP, and Arshpreet Khadial is national spokesperson of the Congress party. Arshpreet, the problem is this, that look, opposition is well within its right to ask questions, some of the unanswered questions about Operation Sindoor, but there is a time, place and a platform where those questions need to be raised. More importantly, the quibble that your party has raised with, government has chosen certain nominees from the opposition, we didn't have a say, or our nominees were not chosen. What is wrong with choosing a Dr. Tharoor or a Salman Khurshid or an Amar Singh or a Manish Tiwari? They're all, after all, congressmen and women. So why not? They represent India's position on Operation Sindoor.
Yes. See, number one, Zaka, I'll start with an example. The Bharatiya Janata Party sought 4 names from us. We gave them 4 names. That was merely a pretense. That was merely for optics. That was merely for theatrics. After that, the Bharatiya Janata Party did what it has always been doing, bypass. They have been bypassing Supreme Court orders. They've been bypassing stakeholder consultation. They've been bypassing having parliament sessions, having discussions and debates. And this same thing has been done again now. They have bypassed the opposition's opinion, the opposition's take on this. And number 2, Zaka, CNN sought a spokesperson from the Bharatiya Janata Party. The Bharatiya Janata Party gave a spokesperson for today's debate. Now, if I were to say that no, a Shehzad Poonawala would have been more competent, or a Gaurav Bhatia would have been more competent, or a Sudhanshu Trivedi would have been more competent.
But that's not your place to say. I mean, it's for their party to decide who they send on a debate. And frankly, I think Sanju Verma is just as competent. I mean, what's the problem?
Zaka, and I agree with that. It is not for me to say. And the same way, because it is for you. You asked for the name. BJP gave the name. The same way BJP asked us for 4 names, we gave 4 names. Yet they were all ignored. Yet they were not added into the list, and the name that was not there was added. Number 1, number 2.
So one second. I mean, I know it's apples to oranges comparison. For the benefit of our viewers, let me just say this. Let me just say this to our viewers, that both in the case of the BJP and in the case of the Congress, media channels, including CNN News 18, ask for political party spokespersons. Even if we have a specific preference, ultimately the party decides who they want to give or do not want to give. It is not that the media channels insist on spokesperson A or spokesperson B. Ultimately, whoever is available, whoever wants to go on a particular topic, he or she is assigned by the party. So just to clarify that for our viewers. But be that as it may, the point, Arshpreet, is you're still not saying why you believe Dr. Tharoor or Mr. Khurshid or Mr. Amar Singh or Mr. Manish Tiwari, you believe are not the most articulate spokespersons of your party, or for that matter, spokespersons for India to put India's point of view across in these global capitals. Why?
Number 1, see, Zaka, the fact of the matter is that the democracy calls for inclusivity. It calls for, this situation called for a united house. But the Bharatiya Janata Party chose a divided house. They chose politics over this. And we only want to say this thing, that opposition represents half of the country. You should have let the opposition has its say, because the fact of the matter is, Zaka, just 10 seconds. My request to the Bharatiya Janata Party is that you have been ignoring a special parliament session because you are afraid of the questions. Mr. Modi did not attend the all-party meeting but went for a Bihar campaign rally. That's what your priority is. You have a Vijay Shah who's calling our sister, the daughter of the nation, a sister of terrorists. And after the FIR was registered, Mr. Modi hasn't even uttered a word over this. He has not been removed from the cabinet.
Let me ask Sanju Verma. Sanju Verma, to be fair, you know, you asked the opposition for names, the opposition gave some names, and you didn't take those names into consideration. It's not just the Congress, even the TMC had a problem, and finally you had to reach out to Mamata Banerjee, and she said, okay, let Abhishek Banerjee be the one who's representing the TMC. So more than one opposition party seems to have this view that they were not consulted before the names were announced.
You know, Zaka, before I come to your pertinent query, I just want to say on a lighter note, Zaka Jacob happens to be one of my favorite anchors. And Zaka, thank you so much for saying I'm as competent as anybody else. And Arshpreet, I'm going to be generous. I think you're highly competent as a Shama Mohammed or a Supriya Srinath. But now let's get to the, more serious part of the debate. The more serious part of the debate, Zaka, is this. You remember in 1994, when India had to send a delegation to the UNHRC at Geneva, the Prime Minister was Narasimha Rao. He chose Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He chose Farooq Abdullah, and he chose, Salman Khurshid. So the prerogative has always been with the political establishment of the day. In 2008, Manmohan Singh had to send an international delegation. The prerogative was entirely his. In 2025, Narendra Modi is the Prime Minister. The prerogative will most certainly be his. That is my point number 1. My point number 2, Shashi Tharoor was the Under Secretary General of Communications in the United Nations. He's been an MS in the External Affairs Ministry. But more importantly, he's chosen to articulate what has happened via Operation Sindoor, putting aside his political affiliations. So why should the government not choose Shashi Tharoor? Point number 3, which is the most important one. I think, Rahul Gandhi and Jairam Ramesh and Pawan Khera, with no offense to none, they seem to be missing the woods for the trees. Let's be very clear. Pakistan ke TV channels par Rahul Gandhi, Pawan Khera, Jairam Ramesh, Vijay Wadettiwar, Sida Ramaiya, B.K. Hari Prasad, Tariq Hamid Karra, these are all senior Congress leaders. They are being quoted gleefully by the Pakistani media because Rahul Gandhi seems to be reading out Zaka from Asim Munir's playbook. I want to ask the Congress one thing. Forget about the global, multi-party delegations that the Modi government is sending to Middle East and US and Europe, what have you. My simple point is this. When Operation Sindoor has still not stopped, we've said we've only paused, it is still very much underway. What was the need for the Congress to say, Indira Gandhi ban pana aasan nahi hai? So through your channel, Zaka, just 10 seconds.
Okay.
Ji haan, Indira Gandhi ban pana aasan nahi hai, because this is the same Indira Gandhi who handed over on a golden platter 93,000 POWs to Pakistan, caved into every ridiculous demand of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto at the negotiating table in 1972. But lo behold, the same Indira Gandhi, the gutsy Indira Gandhi, supposedly could not get back 54 Indian POWs who were left to languish and rot in Pakistan. And Arshpreet, I have condemned Vijay Shah. Do you have the guts to condemn what your alliance partner Ram Gopal Yadav, Akhilesh Yadav's uncle, said about Wing Commander Vyomika Singh? He called her a chamar. Rahul Gandhi ke muh mein dahi jam gaya.
Okay, no,
at
at the very least, can you condemn what Vijay Vadattiyar has been saying, what Mr. Ghulam Ahmed Mir has been saying? Mr. Kharge, you know, senior leader as he is, Congress party president, says ye chutput operation hai. This can't be a chutput operation. India has redrawn the lines. Arshpreet, surely you understand this. And for, I don't know what happened, but certainly for the first 2-3 weeks after Pahalgam, the Congress, at least the leaders of the Congress, seem to be in unison with the government that, look, we are with the government in whatever decision, military action they take. Even after Sindoor happened on the 7th of May, the first initial position was, we are fully with the government on this. What happened in the last few days for the Congress to strike this rather discordant note?
Kindly allow me 2 minutes, Dr. Zakka. First and foremost, Mr. Jaishankar said it in clear words. At the start of the operation, we gave a message to Pakistan that we are going to be striking on the terror basis. The main ingredient of an operation is the element of surprise. Why put our forces in harm's way, and why give this benefit to the Pakistan army? Number 2. We want to ask you from the Bharatiya Janata Party that having a leader like Vijay Shah and that not expelling him from the cabinet is a problem. Not expelling him from the party membership is a problem. The HM, the PM being quiet is a problem. Number 3, when we Zakka say, action, it's almost going to be a month's time, and the terrorists the main accused that carried out this dastardly attack are still at large. They ought to be nabbed at the soonest and ought to be given the most stringent of punishments. How long will the families have to wait? And I want to make one thing very clear. We salute the army, we commend the army, we have the highest of respect for them. And the criticism of the Bharatiya Janata Party is not the criticism of India. And when the Bharatiya Janata Party is appreciating, complimenting Dr. Tharoor, they might as well apologize for what Mr. Modi said about him back in the day. Wah kya girlfriend hai? 50 crore ki girlfriend.
Look, he himself has forgotten it. I don't think that's an issue that's relevant right now.
I need to come in now.
But you know, Sanju Verma, there is a relevant question that Arshpreet Khadial asked. Tomorrow is going to be exactly 1 month since Pahalgam. The fundamental question is, where are those 4 terrorists? Why have they not been nabbed, or why have they not been neutralized? That's the very least that is owed to the families of the victims.
Zakka, I will answer that question, but first let me say one thing very categorically for the benefit of your audience. Yahan baitkar Congress ke pravakta, they say, oh, we love our armed forces, we respect our armed forces. If you really respect the armed forces, why did you give Kanhaiya Kumar a ticket from Northeast Delhi? It's a different matter that he lost by almost 140,000 votes at the hands of, Manoj Tiwari. This is the same Kanhaiya Kumar who said, Indian armed forces are rapists. ये बलात्कारी हैं, और आप कन्हैया कुमार को लोकसभा की टिकट देते हो. आपके शीला दीक्षित के बेटे संदीप दीक्षित had called Bipin Rawat, the late Bipin Rawat, सड़क का गुंडा. Has Rahul Gandhi expelled Sandeep Dixit? Has Rahul Gandhi expelled Kanhaiya Kumar? But Zakka, very quickly, please, just 30 seconds. 2016 surgical strike. We crossed the LOC.
Yeah.
It was one of its kind operation. The Congress, Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, and the entire cabal, they never appreciated the armed forces of Prime Minister Modi. 2019, we did even better. Via the Balakot strike, forget crossing LOC, we crossed the international border. Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, और इनकी पूरी जमात के मुंह में दही जम गया. And lo behold, 2025, forget crossing POK LOC or the international border, Zakka. We struck at the heart of Pakistani military headquarters at Rawalpindi. Show me another country which in less than 23 hours has brought down to its knees a nuclear power. Because don't forget, Pakistan is a nuclear power. And coming back to those 4 people, Shahid Kutte, who is the head of the Resistance Front, which is an offshoot of the Lashkar Taiba, was neutralized by way of Operation Keller. The mastermind of Pahalgam terror attack, Asif Sheikh, Adnan Shafi Dar, they were neutralized. Yes, we have to neutralize those four, but four of the masterminds, Adnan Shafi Dar,
Okay.
Asim Musa,
Very quickly,
Shahid Qutb,
Ashpreet,
they all
final
have
word.
been neutralized.
Yeah, 30
Thank
seconds.
you.
I got to wrap up quickly after
Thank
this. Yeah.
you. Thank you.
30 seconds.
Thank you. See, one is that the reason as to why we have been requesting for a special parliament session is because we want to know why did the US give this ultimatum to us that if you have a ceasefire, there will be trade. If you won't have a ceasefire, there will be no trade. Number two, have you opened the doors to diplomacy and US? Have you invited them for diplomacy over the issue of Kashmir as well? This is another question. Number three, India is recalling Indira Gandhi ji because in 1971, within 4 days of the word that she
Indira
had,
Gandhi did not even give pension to Sam
Pakistan
Manekshaw.
surrendered.
Indira
In
Gandhi did not even
1965,
give
our
pension
army
to
went
Sam
to the Lahore
Manekshaw.
doorstep, and a
She
message was
deprived
conveyed that
Sam
India.
All right,
Manekshaw of his
I'm
pension.
going to call it time. I'm going to call it time on this quick face-off at the top. But like I said, it's come at an inopportune time that just as our parliamentary delegations, and it's a good sign. The sign of a mature democracy is that both government members, ruling party members that is, and also opposition members are part of these various delegations. 50-odd members are going to 30-odd countries and trying to put forth India's point of view in a bipartisan, non-political kind of way that, look, this is why India did what it did, and to try and wrest back some of the narrative which Pakistan claims it has managed to equanimate between India and Pakistan through the course of Operation Sindoor. But